Welcome to our Kilimanjaro 2026 Leadership Summit launch. Really excited to be here with you all for this masterclass. So what is this masterclass? It's really an info session for you all to find out about Kilimanjaro Leadership Summit. And as the name suggests, this is not just a hike. This is not just a mountain that we're climbing. It's actually a leadership program that we do, and it comprises a number of webinars in preparation for the mountain, and it requires bringing some element or aspect of your life or a number of areas of your life that you'd like to transform. And what we do is we look at how we can draw parallels and have analogies from the mountain that will serve us to overcome the hurdles that we have in our own life. So what we do here is something that's pretty unique. It's not just about conquering the mountain. It truly is, quite a humbling experience, and it is something that we take on where we have a host of values that we uphold, and we train and practice certain of these values as we go through the mountain. So something that we really do unique is that there's an element of learning, development, and community, and element of teamwork. So in case anyone is uncertain as to when we are going, in the bottom left corner, there's 8 to 18 July 2026. And if any of you want to go on safari or Zanzibar, then I would plan to be on there till about 24th of July. And for those of you that want to do safari or Zanzibar, we can support you with that bit. It's great for recovery after the mountain. Very seldom do we have people go and do safari or Zanzibar before, just to avoid fatigue. But we did have some people that did that this year. In the past, again, when it's been done, it's something just to be mindful so you don't dissipate your energy before the mountain. What we do on the mountain is really intense physically, emotionally, mentally. And so you really want to kind of bring your best version of yourself there, not cause some last minute 11th hour self-sabotage. Well, first thing is, like I say, we look at an area of your life, and you pick an area of your life where you'd love to shift or transform something. And how many of you here are familiar with a coaching tool called the Wheel of Life, the one that we have on screen? Have any of you seen this or used this before in any form of coaching? Anybody unfamiliar? Anyone who's not seen this before? You can raise your virtual hand. Okay, cool. So the Wheel of Life, high level, what it is we look at various areas of our life, like personal growth, contribution, spiritual health, fun, romance, etc. And you can see all these shaded, um, you know, uh, arcs of the circle of the wheel, where we shade in on a scale of 1 to 10 how well we're doing in that particular area, how content we are with our performance in that particular area. And as you shade that in, so if you look at your health, and in my case, I'll be a 7, 8, or a 9. Social life, I might be 6 or a 7. Family, I might be 5 or a 6. Romance might be a 5 or a fun, I might be 7, 8, 9. Spiritual health, etc., etc. So you color those in, and then you figure out, you look at, where do I see a particular area that I want to give more emphasis on, that I want to give more focus on, or that I want to transform something around. And so, this is a starting point to open your mind to say, okay, if I did this mountain and I would like to transform something about my life, what would it be? So I'd love to kick off just by opening the room and hearing a couple of shares. Who would like to share an area of their life where you love to cause a shift or transformation or growth in that particular area? Rakesh, was that a hand raise? Welcome, Pri. We've got Pranav who just dropped off. I hope he can rejoin.
Hey everyone. Hi Hina, Shilpa. Hi other Hina. Hi Debbie. Hi Rakesh Bhai. Hi Elena.
Awesome. So I just want to get someone to share who'd like to share something here. What area of your life would you love to cause a shift in and maybe take to the next level? Let's go. Who's going to share? Neil, you going for
Ronnie,
it? Set?
Ronnie, can you hear me?
Now we can.
Okay, because I'm coming on and off mute.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, lovely. Right. So I would definitely be focusing on personal growth.
Hmm. Okay, so that's something that
Just,
you want to cause a shift in. So this is just in terms of your what would it be like leadership or anything your emotional resilience, anything in particular, your personal leadership, what might it be?
I think emotional resilience. I think the older I'm getting, I think the more I'm feeling um adventurous, but with it,
Hmm.
a bit of fear, a bit of uncertainty. Um, Resilience is something that I've always had, but it's obviously very different when you throw yourself in a very, very challenging situation, and this one is for me. So I think I just want to prove to myself that anything is possible.
Awesome. Awesome, 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 Sedge. Thanks for sharing and thanks for leading with sharing. Who would like to go next? What is an area where you'd love to cause a shift in? Elena? Elena, you there? You're on mute. Just got to click on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, I'm just from the phone and I'm not, don't know how to, I don't see myself.
Okay. No
Anyway,
worries. We see you.
okay, letting go of control.
Okay.
Yeah, of
Letting go of
of
control.
everything.
So that's something that you would love to transform the mountain or through the program.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. It's brilliant you say that because the mountain definitely has you let go of control. And we have a value on the mountain, which is being open to contribution. So there are many experiences that we have on the mountain where we really get to learn how much we don't control, right? So it allows us to really let go, trust the mountain, trust the process, and to really be able to discover a new way of being contributed to and our leadership as part of a team or a group or community. Cool. Let's have one more share. Who else would like to share one more thing that you'd love to transform before we go into the rest of the session? Rakesh, you're on mute.
Yeah, I would do a social life.
Hmm. What would you like to
So,
shift?
meeting new people, having conversation, um, wider, broader view.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. That is brilliant. And as we do that, this program begins the moment you're signed up, and then we have webinars that we start to prepare for monthly. So we have between 6 to 8 prep webinars that begin. This one is happening in July. So we're going to have our first call in December, and then we're going to have, again in January as we recreate the new year and kind of do some vision boarding. But there are multiple webinars. And in between then, we will be sharing with you guys a training plan that you can use at home or in the gym or outdoors. But also, there's a hiking log where we ask people to prepare and schedule in a bunch of hikes. Now, if you're in the UK, we have a calendar of hikes, so you're welcome to join the UK hikes. In the US, we're also slowly trying to build the regularity of hikes. So our US group tends to organize hikes. Generally, when we have people from the US who've signed up, we have them coordinate with each other and prep some hikes. But through that, you definitely meet a lot of people. And through that, you're definitely going to enhance a lot of your social skills, interpersonal skills. It's going to be a real growth journey right from before the mountain. But on the mountain itself, there's one guarantee we give from the mountain is that we come as strangers, but we leave as a mountain family. And something again very unique about what we do is that we do these webinars that brings people together. And when people meet at base, honestly, I was meeting people who I hadn't realized I hadn't met in person, right? So we knew each other so well, but we weren't sure whether we had met physically in person or not at some particular event way back, or whether we are just so familiar with each other from the number of programs we've done through the FITBANKER community. So brilliant, guys. So why is this important? It's important you have context of a particular area and that you are very clear on that particular area as something that you want to shift or transform, and you have your you come onto the mountain with that intentionality that that's something that you specifically want to shift and transform. Now, why do we do this, and why does a mountain serve you in this particular way? I don't know if you guys have heard the story of the fly and the window. It's a very simple analogy. Many of us have seen a fly often trying to go out the window, and they just keep hitting against the glass. It sees this beautiful world of possibility and bright colors and everything and life happening out there. And it keeps banging against the window, and it just doesn't set itself free. And what Kilimanjaro is, it's kind of like a pattern interrupt. Now, if you're watching that fly, we could just keep watching and watch that fly keep hitting the window till it dies, which often happens. Or we could step forward and you can just open that window and suddenly you see the fly gets to fly out, or the fly could itself look at, hey, maybe I've got to try a different part of this wall and see where the window is open to be able to get out into this big, beautiful, bright world and beautiful, bright future. That, to a fly, is a pattern interrupt. But for many of us right now, many people who have wanted to do Kilimanjaro, and I've been doing this since 2014, 11 years of doing this, 12 years of doing this, I've been saying, I'd love to come, but this year is very busy. I've got this on, you don't understand. I'm shifting, I'm moving, there are weddings coming up. Oh, now I've proposed, now I'm engaged. Now we're expecting, now we're looking to buy a house, and one story after another story after another story. And I've lost two best friends in this 12-year window, both of whom said to me one day. And one of my best friends was very close to coming, and he would keep saying to me, he'd keep asking me on every holiday I came back to Zambia, how much is that again? And it reached a point after about 3 years in a row of him saying that, I was like, you just book the flight and I'll sort out the mountain for you. Like that was the deal I gave him. And that was 2019, and 2020, he passed away. And, unfortunately, life is like that. And we've had people, again, who initially wanted to be part of our first leadership program in 2017. And after that one, I've got a niggly shoulder pain and I've got a knee pain, and whatever we focus on expands. And we will talk about this in our training webinars, that each of you right now sat where you are, you might have a concern about your fitness, about this niggly injury, about something you've got to train and develop. From now, whatever your starting point is now, if you're ready to commit and put the work in, we have ample time to get you completely ready for this mountain and to get to summit. There are no accidents with the people we meet. You just showing up on the webinar is a pattern interrupt to your day. So just want to acknowledge you guys all for being here. And thank you for being here. And I'll be sharing some highlights from a number of different years of the summits and some of the lessons that we've learned from the mountain. But before we do, I know there are some people here that might not know me from before, and I didn't really formally introduce myself at the start, so I'll very quickly do that now. My name's Ronnie, and I'm right now dialing in from Zambia. And that's me on screen. I used to be a fat banker with JP Morgan. I was vice president in London, and I thought that was the definition of success. I had a great job, great career. I was, newly married at the time, and I thought, what, this is life. And then I went through going through this phase of my life, working hard and partying harder. And to me, that was all life had to offer. The jungle that I was exposed to was the concrete jungle in the city of London. Long hours, a lot of international travel, often obviously mostly work related. And whenever I got a snippet of number of leave days being approved, I would try to max out all those leave days and squeeze in a weekend and do whatever I can to juice out every additional day. And it's amazing how us human beings don't learn from ourselves that maybe we're doing something that isn't our calling, that isn't our swabab, that isn't our nature. And maybe there is something out there, a lot more meaningful elements of this beautiful world and life that we've got to be able to see. But while I was stuck in that amazing, successful life, I had formed a resignation around my physique, my physiology, that nothing would shift no matter what I tried. I thought I was eating healthy. I thought I was healthy as a vegetarian. I thought I was not a heavy drinker. I was a moderate drinker, having alcohol maybe once or twice, sometimes 3 times a week. And I really wasn't a big drinker. But one thing I just couldn't shift was my physique, was my health. And in my view, like this is kind of the definition of a fat banker. This is what happens with this kind of a career. And also genetically, I look at my dad and he was overweight at the time. And I thought, well, it's just the genes. There's nothing I can do about it. But also what happens is many of us form what we call subconscious defense mechanisms. So if there's an area of our life that's not shifting, we start to project to the world some kind of rebelliousness as to, hey, look what we can still do. Like I could still work hard and party harder. I could still, in 2014 was my first attempt up Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the photo in the middle. And I did that when I was still 103 kg in weight, 40-inch waist size. And I was one of the least fit people in that group, at least from my physical appearance, is what I thought. I was somebody who was probably second or third largest in the group in terms of size and being overweight. And yet I was able to pull off Mount Kilimanjaro. And amongst the other people there were very lean athletes, runners, people who played golf, tennis, cyclists. And I thought, wow, I don't do all that, yet I'm able to do Mount Kilimanjaro. It gave me this boost of confidence and self-belief. If I can do Kilimanjaro, I can possibly do anything. And on the right there is me taking doing the Daniel Craig pose coming out of a beach in New Zealand. And I say that because in 2013, 2014, that James Bond film was trending and his photo went viral. And I thought, well, I can be okay with my body. But in reality, it's some form of self-deprecating humor. We mock ourselves because if we joke about ourselves and mock ourselves, then maybe others won't too. But this is all a form of denial. Now, living that life in that bubble, shortly after we got married, my wife and I had gone to Edinburgh to the Fringe Festival to celebrate Ambika's birthday. And while we were there, we found out a few weeks before that we were pregnant, and that was going to be the 3-month mark. And we're really excited from there to announce to the world with a photo of our baby scan that we're going to become parents. But while we were there, everything flipped 180 degrees. We had a miscarriage, and it was a crushing moment for Ambika and I. And it was, while I was physically able to do all that I've shown you in the prior slides, I was not emotionally resilient. I started to get these heart palpitations, and the next day I wound up in hospital. We weren't sure what happened. We went in to check whether I was having a stroke or a heart attack or something of that nature. And to me, it was a real wake-up call to question what is really the quality of the life that I'm living. I did not at all find my job stressful. I found myself very successful in my career. I made vice president at a pretty young age and had a very beautiful, bright future ahead of me. But I remember lying in the hospital bed, seeing my wife dozing off on the chair next to me, and I could see her stressing about what may happen the next day. And I realized I could be 30 minutes away from being non-existent. And suddenly, this person that banks on my fitness, my wife there, my family, her family, they all bank on me. I won't be around. And I realized that many of us go through life what we think is slogging or working long hours for others, but actually sometimes it's quite selfish if it's at the expense of our well-being and our health, because we could be gone. And so I really started to prioritize working on my well-being and my fitness. But as I shared, one of the big internal psychological boosts is shortly after this was when we went to Kilimanjaro the first time. And of a group of 22 of us, 20 had made it to summit. And of those 20, as you can see, I'm almost the biggest guy here on screen. I am the biggest of this group here. And I made it to the top. And it was a big, big confidence boost to me. I was like, wow, if I can do Kilimanjaro amongst all these lean, fit, athletic people, then what else can I do? So got back to London a couple of weeks later, signed up to this thing called Tough Mudder, an obstacle course race. I survived that. Then I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to town and work on my health. So I went to the gym and I just said, I'll go animal mode and started training crazy. And I went from 108 kg, implementing some of the philosophy or science of the research I'd done on nutrition and fat loss and muscle gain. And after losing about 20 something kilos, that's me on the left, I joined a body transformation competition. That's me after 90 days. I ended up winning that. It went slightly viral on social media, and that led to the birth of FITBANKER, the organization. So I launched this to see if I could support, help, mentor a number of friends and family. I thought I'd have 5, 10, 15 polite friends who would sign up to it, but 60 people signed up to the first 90-day mentoring program we launched. And now we're 10 years old and we've coached and transformed thousands of lives globally, including on screen we have one of the doctors who's done our program. This is Ellie from the UK. These are another couple of doctors from Orlando, Florida. This is Simran, who lost 15.8 kg doing our program and then signs up to Kilimanjaro. But these are all examples of people who have taken on their health with us. And beyond that, many have gone on to do Kilimanjaro, which is kind of like our pinnacle program. It's probably one of my favorites. I wouldn't put myself through that every year if I didn't really enjoy it, and I truly enjoy it. And it is not a walk in the park. It is not easy. No matter how many times I do it, it does not get easier. It really, really, really calls on me bringing my whole self to it. But I want to share with you, for those of you that are thinking about Kilimanjaro, the first step is visualization. You've got to be able to see yourself at the top. That's the beginning. And then we reverse engineer the rest. And by visualization, I want you to know that there are people from all walks of life. In this group, there are people in their 30s, 20s, 40s, 50s here who've done this program. They've gone on to do, again, other peaks and mountains. Beyond that, in 2018, we had a group where we went for world record attempt of world's highest fitness class, and we had actually broken the record of the existing world's highest fitness class record at the time. 2019, we have, if you've seen the top left, there's a young girl sitting on my shoulders. That's 9-year-old Dia. So, you know, people from all walks of life are able to do this. This was a group of predominantly women with one other guy, and it was 100% summit rate. It was very hard. And in the bottom left corner is one of the ladies that got there last. It took her a very long time to get to summit. Ultimately, we had to get her oxygen on the top, and then she was able to come down safely. But it is a very challenging physical feat, yet I'm sharing with you these photos to see it's really doable. In 2023, we had our largest group yet, which is 42 summiteers from, again, all over the world, UK, USA, Africa, India. So really beautiful global community. And even though there are 42 people, no one there felt like they didn't know anybody else in the group, because we really invest time in these webinars to create that sense of chemistry and bond and connection. And again, different ages in this group, different industries, different levels of or stages of their career or education, and they all got to really connect and create one beautiful bond. This is, again, some pics from that particular year, 2022. This is some of the photos from 2022. This is again from 2023, that large group that we had. Now, about the climb, very quickly, what does the climb entail? Well, first of all, it's a bucket list item. Kilimanjaro has a powerful brand name. If you tell people you're going to do Mount Meru, some of you here may not have heard of that mountain. If you're going to do Mount Tubkal, I never heard of that mountain, which is also something we do. But now that I've done it, it's lovely, and you should join us when we go. But Kilimanjaro, everybody knows what Kilimanjaro is. And it is one of the what's called the 7 summits of the world, which is the top highest mountains of the 7 continents make up the 7 summits. And Kilimanjaro is the roof of Africa. It's the tallest single standing mountain. Other mountain ranges are basically part of a range. The mountain height is 19,340 feet. That's about almost the vertical height of 6 kilometers, 5,895 meters high. We do a 7-day climb. So the one that we're doing in 2026 is going to be this route, Lemosho, that we've also done this year. And on some days you walk only 4 kilometers, a very short distance. I think one might even be 3 point something kilometers. And on one of the days we walk 22 kilometers, right? So that's a pretty big day that we do on this particular route. The total amount of time that we spend walking in a day, some routes we can finish them in 3 hours. And for some of them, you'd be walking specifically for summit day. We start off around midnight, and by the time you get back to your campsite and tent in the evening, could be 5 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., or 6 p.m. So it could take you up to 18 hours of walk time. Of course, that means you're stopping for lunches, you're stopping for meals along the way. There's rest along the way. Sorry, I put it there. Just check there. So there is a lot of breaks along the way, and that's the total from start to finish time that we take on our particular day. You're going to have 4 nights of accommodation, luxury accommodation at base. So it's a bed and breakfast place, but a beautiful rustic hotel, amazing theme. One of my favorite places there. We may, for 2026, use a different location, which is a nice luxury glamping site, but still a very beautiful place to do. But what you want to know is included in the package are these 4 nights. Anyone else you go to, normally they'll have 2 nights booking, one night before, one night after, and we think that's not enough for you to acclimatize. And there's a lot of beauty and fun to be seen at base. So we spend two full days at base before we go up, and after you come down, you spend one more night. Climate, people ask, what will the weather be like that time of the year, this time of the year? No matter what time of year people ask me, I say you're going to get all 4 seasons. So you're going to get rain, it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid at certain points, it's going to be dry, it's going to be barren, it's going to be cold, it's going to be freezing. So you could go from as hot as 30 plus degrees on one of the days, and by the time we get to summit, it will be close to 0, -1, -2. Now, at night, at the top, it goes to about -20, but most of us will not be at the top in the middle of the night there. So the most coldest exposure we will get, or I've seen we've gotten maybe, is about -5. So other than that, it's pretty bearable weather. And we also have a saying in our hiking community, which is there's no such thing as bad weather, only inappropriate clothing. So long you bring the right gear and the right layers, you'll be pretty good. You have to bring your own clothing and gear. What we provide is we will provide obviously webinar training like this before. We'll have a number of check-in calls with you if need be, if additional support's needed. On the climb, we provide all the tents. We provide sleeping bags and so on. We provide the food. We have waiters, porters, guides. All this takes a lot of pulling this together. And then we have a lot of extras that others may not provide, which is we have hot showers we take up the mountain. And 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when people did this mountain, the only way you did this mountain was, and still today, I would say 95% of climbs that go up the mountain, they don't have hot showers. Maybe more, maybe 99% don't. We were one of the first before we got a shower structure constructed for this mountain. I know that Roman Abramovich has gone up this mountain and he paid 16K for his package. And he didn't summit and he didn't have a hot shower, but we do. So, there's a lot of extras that we put in. We have hot showers, we have portable chemical toilets. What we've now introduced are a few extras, but those will come at a nominal price. You'll have to book them and reserve them if you need them. These are like beds if you want. Otherwise, traditionally, the way we do mountains and camping is you're on a tent and you're sleeping in the tent. So a few other extras like that we can book in. Day 6 and 7 is about coming down the mountain. So we normally summit on day 6. And the rest of day 6, we used to start descending. We spend one more night on the mountain. And then day 7, we finally come off the mountain. Now, the route we're doing next year is Lemosho. So you spend 6 nights on the mountain. It's 7 days, but 6 nights on the mountain. And day 1, we start off, we walk to what's called Forest Camp or Big Tree. And in Swahili, they call it Mti Mkubwa, which means big tree. The next day is the very big 22-kilometer hike. Now, you go to Shira 1, we have lunch there, and from there we carry on and get to Shira 2, where we have supper. So that's a very big day. Normally, or not normally, other groups do this route in 8 days. That's one of the options, but we're doing it in 7 days. And it's still very doable in 7 days because we can combine getting to Shira 1 and Shira 2 in one day. And it is a long push, but it's day 2 really kind of breaks you in and strengthens you. Then from Shira 2, we go the next day to day 3, which is we go to this place called Lava Tower. We first time go to altitude of 4,600. Now, just to give you a sense, remember the summit is 5,895. The base of the town that we live in is at 1,400 altitude or 1,200 altitude. The gates, just as you enter, like this Mueca gate, which says Mueca at the bottom here, is 1,800. Lemosho, the gate we specifically go through itself, is already at 2,300. So we're starting at 2,300, and we use an approach called climb high, sleep low. So on day 3 from Shira 2, we're already at that point at about 3,700, and we go up for lunch to an altitude of 4,600. And then from 4,600, we come back that night and we sleep at 3,900. So it's an approach called climb high, sleep low, and it allows your body to slowly break into the altitude to allow your red blood cells to become more efficient at oxygen absorption and distribution, and it really prepares your body. So you might feel very fatigued on day 1, you might feel very fatigued on day 2, but by day 3 and day 4, we start hearing people say, wow, I feel like I really rested well. I'm feeling a lot more energetic. I'm feeling a lot more better. But basically, the body's acclimatizing. Then from Barranco camp, we go up this beautiful thing called Barranco Wall, and we go to a campsite called Karanga. From Karanga, we go the next day to Barafu, and that is the pre-summit night. So we get there about lunchtime. We have lunch. We have an afternoon nap, wake up for supper. And after supper, we go back to sleep for about 3 hours from 7 to 11 p.m. We wake up at 11 p.m. and at midnight, we start walking through the dark. Then we get up to the rim. The first point on the rim we meet is called Stella Point. And then there's 1 more kilometer to get to the highest point on the rim, which is called Uhuru Peak. After that, we come back to Barafu. We do not stay at Barafu. And from Barafu, I'm telling you all this because as much as I cover this with so much clarity, we have people who say, you never told us about coming down. Elena, you can tell Seema that I outed her. When she got to Barafu, she asked, where's the bus? I was like, what do you mean bus? She's like, I thought by now we've done the summit, there'll be a bus to take us down. I said, mate, we're like 4,600 meters up in the air. There's no bus here. So anyway, we kept walking and she kept asking for this bus. Eventually, we went down to Millennium Camp. We spent 1 more night. She somehow forgot that we have 1 more night to spend on the mountain. She thought, hey, there must be like a quick exit option for people, like tourists who want to jump on it. It's not a touristic viewing mountain yet. There are plans to have a cable car at some point, but right now this is a serious adventure. So anyway, she got strong and we carried on down for the next day and a half. But I do want to share one very small opportunity, guys. I won't take too much time on this here, but if this speaks to any of you, you'll have to contact me or Hina right after this very quickly. I am going because there's a custom request of another very small group of people, only 4 people, and they want me to do the same Lemosho route, but it's called the Northern Circuit. So they basically reach Barranco Camp, or before Barranco Camp, they go around that 4-6 place where we had lunch at called Lava Tower that I mentioned. They then go back down and around the mountain and they summit. This is an 8-day route. It's 8 days hiking, so it costs a bit more for 8 days. And it's also a smaller group of people, so costs a bit more. But this is happening. You want to note these dates down in case you feel you have the fitness. You'll need to be fit for this because it's happening in 6 weeks' time. It is 27th August to 5th September. So if by any chance one of you is thinking, hey, I want to do the one happening this year, I don't want to digress this call too much, or you can stay on at the end to ask, but this is an option in case because we're trying to get 4 more people to join this particular one. It won't be as detailed as our normal leadership summit, meaning we have some leadership training workshops that we do. Because this is being done as a family, I do want to caveat this, that this won't be at the standard of the FITBANKER Leadership Summit. It will have all the luxury and the bells and whistles and the food and the acclimatization day, but it won't have one of the training things. And of course, because it's not a leadership program, there are some other leadership elements and coaching that happens, which may not happen as much on this particular group. So anyway, wherever people are starting from and they're training from, these are photos of people training in different parts of the world. And then you can see that's Abba and Charlene from the 2017 summit, and a few other people here that you might know. So people are sharing their photos as they're training from different parts of the world. Everyone's excited to head out there. Day one, when we get there, sorry, day one we arrive. The day two, after the arrival day, we have what's called a Seva Day, a day of service, gratitude, and giving. So we often have been fundraising for different causes. This year, we've been supporting this particular deaf center. It's administered, overseen, managed by the local Lions Club and a bunch of local businessmen. So there's a little bit of trust, reliance we have on the accountability, transparency, and application of the funds. There are many charities there where sometimes we aren't sure how and where the funds go to. We also sometimes do tree planting at that particular venue. In the past, we have fundraised for a particular school. But again, other than once we've sent the money, we just got an update to say, yes, an additional classroom was built. We haven't really gotten to go and see it again. No doubt about it, but just, we love being able to see and grow with the place. So this place I've seen develop the Deaf Center, but one of the years we fundraised for one of these classrooms. This building here on the left there, where there's that gap, is where an additional classroom was constructed. Also on that day, we have a acclimatization and cultural immersion day. So we go for an acclimatization hike. There are one of two options, the couple of waterfalls. Because of the beautiful mountain, there are so many, the glaciers melting, there's so many streams and rivers that come off, and at the base of the mountain, there are very beautiful scenic waterfalls. So we've been to a number of them, but this is one of the ones that we did this year called Mataruni Falls. And then we went and did a coffee tour, and we learned about coffee and how it's grown from the seed. And here we have these lovely ladies who are pounding away our coffee, preparing our coffee that we're going to have fresh from bean to cup. This is actually meant to be a video, but it's not playing. I'm going to play the video here because I got it just to turn it past.
There's no sound, yeah?
Oh, no sound?
I can't hear any sound.
All right. Can you hear now? All right, so that amongst other fun, it's a really fun day that we have out there. If anyone's celebrating anything like a milestone anniversary or a birthday, we would love to know, because then we can incorporate some party around that as well if it's close to the date that we're out on the mountain. The next day, this is T-1, so the day before we're going up the mountain, we have some conference room style training where we do some team building exercises. We do a little bit of mindset coaching and context creation. We also get to know each other through what we call a process called life maps. So again, these are from different groups, different years. On the life maps, it's a way of introducing ourselves and getting into each other's worlds, so we get a sense of others in the team and really find out actually how much commonality we have with other people. People go through sharing certain breakthroughs they've had in their life and certain setbacks, certain moments of pain, certain losses they've had in their life, and we find a lot of similarity amongst others that we meet there. So this is from the earlier years where you see everybody wearing casual stuff, and that's Amir. And when we realized he came in his lungi, we thought we need to enforce a dress code. So after that, we make sure everyone shows up in a nice t-shirt. I'm of course joking about that, but just for our group photo, we have some FITBANKER t-shirts that we all get to dress up in. This is day one on the mountain, and if you want to see an example of what smiles on a mountain look like, it's primarily on day one. Thereafter, the smiles slowly start to fade away as the mountain goes higher and gets a bit harder. But there's obviously big ecstasy at the top when we get to summit. So this is different years, groups that we go there. In the bottom left is us doing the sign in. In the bottom right corner, you can see is the porters. What we do is the bags that we bring, they pack them into these other outer bags, and they have to be weighed. There are very many companies that take people up the mountain for a lot less, and one of the ways they do that is they have individuals carry 40 kg loads up the mountain. We work with a company that ensures that nobody goes over 20 kg load, and ideally your bag that they carry should be, your bag shouldn't be more than 15. So it allows them 5 kilos to carry something additional that they need to carry. Again, this is one of the 2018 cohorts of all of us going up. In this particular cohort, because we're a large group of 42, this was of 20, we had a doctor with us. So there's not always a doctor up the mountain. Sometimes if there's a reason we believe we may need a doctor, then we do take a doctor. Day 1 through the mountain is going through a rainforest. So when I say it's about mid to late 20s temperature, or even 30 plus degrees temperature, it's when we go through the rainforest. Rainforest is beautiful to see. Sometimes we get to see some beautiful monkeys called colobus monkeys. As we go up the first day's lunch is a packed lunch. Thereafter, most of our meals are hot meals. So packed lunch will be a very simple lunchbox where we'll have maybe a couple of pieces of fruits, some starchy carbs, starchy root carbs like cassava, sweet potato, yam, maybe some biscuits, maybe a sandwich, maybe a salad box, so depending on what your preference is. We cater for veggie, vegan, gluten intolerant, lactose intolerant, whatever your dietary requirements are, you need to let us know. And then this is getting to campsite on day 1. So as we arrive at the campsite, you obviously just register the ranger's office that you're in. And every evening, we have our tables laid out like this. So this is in the past been laid out and labeled for the vegan area. If they're vegans, we had a large number of vegans in one particular group. Otherwise, obviously, we sit amongst each other and pass the plates and serving pots around. This is again one of the other summits. Something we do is we practice a lot of gratitude on the mountain. So we have gratitude round shares at night in the tent, and otherwise some other points on the hike. We will to really just uplift the mood and focus on the positives of what's beautiful, amazing. We do some gratitude sessions. Day 3, this will be day 2, where we're leaving Shira camp in the morning, going on to day 2. And again, but at this point in time, you can see the tree cover has disappeared, right? So the thick forest that we're in, we've now come into a new area called Alpine Heath, and or what might be called moorlands. So depending on which altitude we're at. So we get into the moorlands territory. This is moorland territory where there's no trees. You just get small shrubs, a lot of rocks. And these rocks are basically droplets of lava when this volcano exploded. The history of Kilimanjaro is there were 3 cones there. One is called Mowenzi, which is there. It's now a dead volcano. It's extinct. Kilimanjaro is considered a dormant volcano, which is the Kibo Peak right at the back. And right now what they're standing on, again, is a dead and extinct, the 3rd cone, which was called Shira, which exploded. They believe it was much taller than the main part of Kilimanjaro. And after exploding, it fell into a plateau. So it forms a plateau that takes us 2 days to cross over it. On this day, we call it the giving birthday because it's a very hard day. And if you push through this day, and people will feel a lot of altitude symptoms, they might be throwing up, there will be headaches, they will be feeling dehydrated. If you can push through this day, we say then you can definitely make it through many of the other days and a high chance of summit success. But we do have to do a lot of breath work, a lot of stretching, and going slowly, what we call in Swahili pole pole. Now, it could be beautiful, bright and calm and sunny like this 1 minute, and then the next minute it could turn into, and we have to do a lot of stretching. The next minute it could turn into, from being beautiful, bright and sunny, into a hailstorm. So this is the same route where now it is turned into rain, and at that altitude it turns into snow or turns into hailstone. And so really got to put on our rain ponchos or our waterproof jackets or windbreakers just to make sure we keep warm. Day 4, every day has a theme on the mountain. Day 4 is about awakening the inner child. And this day we practice climbing, and it's not 100% straight vertical or a 90-degree vertical wall, but it's called Barranco Wall. And it is somewhat at, 60, 70 degrees of an incline. And we are going zigzag on this wall. So we aren't going straight upwards at 70, 80 degrees. We are going across it. But you do need to use both your limbs, at least 2 or 3 limbs at a go. Both your hands maybe and your legs. You don't need a rope. It's not technical climb. I want to say it's very safe, and I'm just going to say this to you guys now. This year was the first year I've ever seen somebody fall off this wall. I've heard it happens very seldom, but this year it happened with some, I don't know what happened, whether that lady just slipped, made an accident, or maybe was trying to do something funny. But there's a point on the wall where it's called Kissing Rock, and somehow she slipped from that point. It was pretty hard for her, but she survived. They took her to hospital. She obviously didn't continue the mountain. She was stretchered off and then helicoptered off the mountain. Day 5, we go into this very barren territory. This is where it could be a bit cold, it could be sunny, just really depends on the weather. This particular year, we had a lot of mist and cold, and so people are walking with their hot drinks and staying warm as much as they can. You can see the peak inside, the ultimate peak called Kibo Peak, and this day is about practicing patience, pausing, breathing, reflecting. I often tell people that if we are ever to go to Mars, those that have done Kilimanjaro will have some preparation, because we walk through this big crater on Mount Kilimanjaro where it's completely barren, black soil, volcanic rock, kind of feels like you're walking on Mars. This is what it looks like, and this is what I call the little calm before the storm. Now, we obviously love going as large groups. There are people as well that have done this mountain that just go solo, father and son. There's a father and son group that we didn't take, but we met them on the mountain. We thought it was pretty cool. And then also people do this with their partners. So it's a great place to explore and discover love. This is a husband and wife that did the mountain together, and they often hadn't done, they do a lot of holidays together, but they hadn't done one where they're really pushing themselves. And it really contributes in many ways to their bond in their relationship. In the background, what you see, there's Mount Meru. It's a nearby mountain, which Hina has done as well, and we'll be doing at some point as well. This is again another couple. This is from Indo. This is Abba and Ajesh, and this is a couple who, again, coming on the mountain. They take on the mountain because, I think for them it was after years of marriage, kids move on, and then suddenly they're empty nested and they're trying to rediscover their relationship. And taking on this mountain was something that they chose to do, and it had a real deep, profound effect and impact on them. So, this is another couple that did it. These were two engaged, and the guy didn't show up for much of the training, the girl did. And this is a point at which, unfortunately, after day 3, which I said is a very hard day, the giving birth day, this guy's legs began to wobble. He was kind of losing that strength in his legs. It was an effect of altitude. And this is us having our farewell goodbye song for him. So we're sending him back down because he wasn't able to continue beyond this point. And his fiance made it to the top, and now they're happily married. And that's me and my brother, just hustling my brother. But a great place for you to express love, or your love for alcohol, which these girls cheekily brought 2 bottles of Jameson, which they're not supposed to bring up the mountain, but they're part of a drinking club, so they really want to take a photo for their drinking buddies and say, hey, this is us with Jameson at the top. We didn't let them have the shots there because at that altitude it will hit you like this. And then we'll have other issues to deal with. Also, a great place to explore and discover nature. Beautiful skies you will see, different color skies, very clear skies. Sometimes it will be cloudy. You'll discover the power of rain or wind or sun for sure. This is Dia obviously looking at the peak, the 9-year-old girl. This is where we've had a particular sunrise. This is what the sunrise looks like if you're out and up. Normally we're out and up about 6:15, 6:30 out of our tents, brushing our teeth, getting ready, washing our face, and you get this beautiful skies. This is another route on the mountain where there's a lagoon. Not all the routes have a lagoon to see, but this one that has a lagoon has a beautiful lagoon, but doesn't have like Barranco Wall, which I think is a pretty beautiful, fun highlight. On day 5, after day 5, on the early hours of day 6, we start our ascent in the dark. So this is us starting in the middle of the night, going for summit. And as we're going for summit, there's a lot of tension in the room. People are rushing to get ready. In the bottom right corner, what you see, there's somebody watching a video message from my wife, wishing them good luck and what her experience was like. And it was very encouraging to get that emotional, mental support and those few encouraging words. We carry on through the cold, dark night, and it is very cold. We do a little bit of singing and energizers through the night to keep everybody alert and awake. And then we're itching. We just can't wait for that first piece of sunrise after, the sun breaks through the clouds. This is Tammy, one of the people getting warmed up by going up that mountain. This is look at what the first light looks like. It really warms us up after a very cold and freezing night. So we're walking for about 6 to 7 hours before we get sight of sunrise. Obviously, a couple selfies people are taking with a beautiful sunrise. You really feel, this is where you feel you're on top of the world, because you could see the whole perimeter of the globe standing from where we are, and once you see the sun coming through the edge of the earth. This is the first point on the rim we reach, called Stella Point, and a lot of people here get very excited to reach here. A lot of people here reach here very fatigued and tired. And at this point, some people want to turn down and some people do. But we recommend from here that people take this additional kilometer. It sometimes takes an hour to walk this last kilometer to get to the ultimate highest point, which is in the background there, the rocks behind there, where there's the place called Uhuru Peak. On the way, if you chose to turn down, you would miss out on these beautiful glaciers, which look like the castles from the cartoon Frozen. Must see, very beautiful to see. And this is the first people arriving at summit. So you arrive at summit. Of course, what's important, people want to get their summit photos, their summit pics. If you want to bring your country's flags, please do. If you want to bring your company's flags or a message for somebody special, please do. It's a great place for you to do that. Of course, you want to try to get as thin and light a version of any flag or poster or material that you have, which has a key message. Do not plan to carry something heavy or made out of some thick canvas. It really won't serve you carrying that through the night. And then, yeah, that particular summit, everybody summited. And I shared earlier about the girl called Simran, who went through a weight loss journey with us. First, she lost 15.8 kg in her 90 days, and then another 5 kilos before Kilimanjaro. And this is everybody at summit, other than her. Well, other than her and one of the earlier first people that summited, he started to have altitude symptoms, so we sent him down. But the rest of us took a photo, and they were all like, we've got to go now. And I kind of cut a deal with that girl, so I'm just going to wait for you at summit. And I didn't know how long I was waiting, so we waited about an hour and a half, or an hour, and then I'm like, we got to go. We start walking back, and half an hour later, bump into her, which was very emotional. So I walked back to summit with her, and we didn't have radios on that particular group, but now we do. So normally now we check with radio with the last person. We try to encourage people not to give up and turn back unless we see it's a medical condition. And this is ultimately her coming to summit. We had a similar story this year. For those of you that were following the story, we had Seema, who was also reached Stella Point and was kind of giving up, wanted to turn back, and we really stood for her to continue getting to the top. That's Seema's thing. So we also create mantras. Her mantra was, I didn't get this far to just get this far. And that really served and empowered her to continue her journey through the mountain. So all these people have done it, as I've shared earlier. 42 people, 9-year-old girl. Getting to the top is definitely one thing to celebrate and enjoy. And it's also very important that you realize that when you get to the top, you need a lot of energy and strength to continue going down. We have had in the past people losing energy in the legs, and it really is a process for us to deal with. So we really want people to be very well trained for this mountain. And sometimes what we don't like to do is having to bring somebody down on a stretcher. So this is us putting somebody in a stretcher where we have to bring them down. The stretchers are not by any means a comfortable ride. They're like a wheelbarrow with one wheel under there and shock absorbers, but not the best of options to be coming down this way. We would love people to have the resilience and strength and stamina to come down walking with strength. As we get down to base, we have a big thank you and acknowledgement to the people that took us to the top, which is our porters and guides. And after the first summit, we had introduced these awards tonight. So those of you that have been part of FITBANKER Awards, they originated from this summit where we were going to give awards for those that did Kilimanjaro. And Amir at the top and his guide next to him, Amir, in throwing up on summit night about 3 a.m., vomited and lost his single-toothed denture. And about half an hour later, he realized his tooth had come out. So his guide decided to go back, find it in his puke, and found his tooth. And we later found out that they both had a common missing tooth in the same place, and they won the Lost and Found Award. So, we do have some fun awards that happen after that. In the bottom, that is from this year's group. We had a lovely group of porters and guides there. On the table, there's a beautiful cake actually that Hina sent for the porters and the guides. She loves them. And there was a big celebration that we have always with our porters and guides, acknowledging them. The bottom left, that was me and this year's co-lead Pri, as we were, leading this and preparing for, this is our tipping ceremony. And after that, we go on then to have Awesome. So that's a little bit of giving you guys a sense of the party and the tipping ceremony and the excitement that happens at base. And like I say, we might go up as friends or even strangers, but come down as family. So each of the summits till today, like there's a WhatsApp group from our 2014 group that I went, which was a project I created not under FITBANKER. And, that was the first one we did. But from then to date, 2014, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2 in 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. There are all these WhatsApp groups where people still stay so connected. They share updates on, mountains they've gone to. People have been invited to each other's engagements or weddings or, some have turned into relationships. So we've had a couple of them that have met through this process. Gotten engaged, preparing their wedding, and so on. People who were colleagues did this together and then later started dating and now married and have a kid. So a lot of fun and games happen on the mountain. And so, that is, amongst many other things, a lot of the powerful bond that happens. Where do we stay at the base? We stay at this beautiful place called Weru River Lodge. So like I say, we might have one that's also just recommended by these guys. They're very close to us, like family. But there's a glamping option that we might look at next year, again, just depending on the numbers. It has a beautiful pool and place for us to hang out and chill. And in the background is, from this lodge, right on the left here, is Kilimanjaro. So on a clear day, you get to see the summit of the mountain. For those people that are going on safari, we will help plan that for you. If you've never done Tanzanian safari, it is the best in the world. I think Serengeti is the best place. On the way going there, you'll go through the Ngorongoro crater and you'll go through a Maasai conservation area. You'll get to go and visit some Maasai villages and you'll get to go into the Maasai home. It's a beautiful experience to do if you've never done it before. And if those of you that want to do safari, do tell us early. You obviously have to book your flights accordingly, adding 5 more days to your departure day. Then we'll plan all the stuff in it for you. The safari, we can get it for you at a really good price, and by all means, you're welcome to go and even get your own quote for safari. But if we do get the group together, we'll get a much better rate. And we would be choosing, obviously, hotels and places that we highly recommend and or have even tried in the past. So great place for us to get to see nature and see the Serengeti. This is just, again, pics of the lodges from safari. Who can climb Kilimanjaro? Like, the lower age limit formally is 10 years old. If it's under 10, parents have to sign a waiver for the kids. That's how we've taken a 9-year-old. I've taken my boy at 6 and 3 up the mountain. We didn't take him to summit. We've taken him to 4,000 meters. People say it's more painful than childbirth. So, not to be taken lightly. But at the same time, I know a number of people who've gone on to have more than one child after childbirth. And all shapes and sizes can do it. But being very honest with all of you, we have seen the larger you are, the heavier you are, the more taxing it is on the body. And I say that as somebody that was big, and I've known what it feels like doing it as a heavy body, and I know what it feels like doing it as a lean body. So I highly recommend that the fitter you are, the greater the chance of summit success. Yet, no matter how fit you are, even if you're an Olympian athlete, like Wimbledon champ Martina Navratilova, she didn't summit Kilimanjaro. She got a bit of a bug and maybe a reaction to altitude, and she had to come down on day 3 or 4 down the mountain. It is a lot of physical preparation, but there's also a lot of mental preparation. We do a number of medical checks on the mountain daily in the tent. If you have some underlying condition, you need to let us know. We've been able to take people here that are asthmatic, that are diabetic, people that have high blood pressure. The main thing for us to really look at is people that have high blood pressure. They need to make sure they show up with their medication and have extra medication just in case on the mountain. And we need to be checking your blood pressure at certain altitudes regularly as we go up the mountain. 2 forms of fatality, 2 common causes of fatality on the mountain. One is called cerebral edema, and this is where your brain could inflame and start to swell, and we know what signs to look out for if we see somebody might be having that. And the other one is pulmonary edema. This is where obviously it impacts your lungs, and we are looking out for certain symptoms and listening for a certain type of cough, and then we might have to ask people to descend. Now, the leadership program, actually, there's a number of extras that we include into our package that from our supplier, the prices have gone up significantly, but what we have done is we've increased the price of the program by only £100 for next year. And in that is everything from your airport pickup to your drop-off. You bring your own personal gear and your bags, and we do the rest. A sleeping bag alone, the quality and type you need for this mountain costs £250 to £300, a really good quality one. We provide that, so you don't even need to spend on that. We have 2 days of workshops and gratitude day at base, like I shared, 4 nights in total, so 3 nights before, 1 night after. All the meals, snacks, teas on the mountain, everything on the mountain, obviously everything is covered by us. Portable toilets, portable showers, your airport transfer, so your pickup to your drop-off is included. We will provide you over the webinars with training and nutrition guidance, plus other mindset coaching. You'll be part of a WhatsApp group with the other people and with us. If you're in the UK, you can join the treks. You have to pay for the treks, of course. They're not included in the price, but they're subsidized for those doing Kilimanjaro. If you want to buy some gear, there are some companies from which we get a corporate group discount, like Mountain Warehouse in the UK. And so if you're in the UK, you want to buy stuff from Mountain Warehouse, you can let us know. Then we just call the particular branch that has the arrangement with us, and they'll sort that out for you. There's often some FITBANKER merchandise, like FITBANKER t-shirts. We've also had in the past duffel bags or bottles or coffee cups. So just depends on which year it is, what you will get. What's not included is obviously your personal wear and clothing. Your flight is not included, and we recommend that you bring, for tipping money, approximately $220 in cash each. Now, the tipping money has to be brought separately because we believe in giving directly to the people that you want to thank and acknowledge. Tipping is obviously optional, but every year we've found that when it comes to tipping, you're basically giving the equivalent of $30 a day, right, for a big team. Now, if we are 15 of us, like this year we're 15, the support team is 71 people. That's about 4.7 people per climber. 4.7 people. There are some groups that will take you up with 2.5 people per climber. And that means that they take a lot of the load. It will be rough for that team. So we'd rather create more employment, more impact, more contribution on the ground. We're okay recruiting more because we do have a lot of extras like hot showers. We have phenomenal food and cuisines that we have on the mountain. And so we do want to acknowledge our team at base. Those of you that are signing up now, 4199 is the full price. But if you're signing up today, it is 3550 with a £650 scholarship. So you can get that now, and that price is, well, there's a limited number of them, but if for whatever reason they're not gone, it will be available till 31st December this year. If you want to pay in installments, then you pay £1,000 down, and then you have to pay the balance $2,750 by 15th April next year. Right now, from the moment you sign up, right after that, if you choose to cancel the next day, £500 is non-refundable. Any cancellation after 31st December and before 15th April, 50% of your full price is going to be lost. Any cancellation after 15th April, 100% of the payment you make is non-refundable. Of course, we incur costs. You know, I fly out there in person to be there, so all my bookings and all that, those are costs that we incur regardless of the number of people that come. If you choose to transfer to a future period, again, that's at our discretion, but otherwise, it won't be able to be done. And just so you know, for those of you that have done mountains before, I've lost 3,000 euro like this booking Mont Blanc, and I had issues with my visa. I couldn't go, so I lost the money. I couldn't transfer it, couldn't get a credit. And the funny thing is, all the other people that did show up, they didn't even get to do Mont Blanc because the weather forecast was bad. So, you know, this is kind of a welcome intro to how the mountaineering world works. It takes a lot of planning, and we're reserving a lot of things at base specifically for us. What matters is the team that we work with. We want some of the best guides and chefs and waiters and porters, so we try as best as possible to reserve them in early. Once you've booked with us, next thing you need to do is to book your flight, and then you can get insurance. You can also get cancellation insurance in case, for whatever reason, you cancel. You won't get the refund from us, but at least you can claim it from your insurance. And then we have fundraising that we do for the charity that we back. So normally we identify somebody who will be a fundraising lead. This year we had the amazing Pri, and she raised, if I'm not mistaken, about £15,000, which is amazing. And so, you know, if you love doing that, then definitely, as part of leadership, there are certain roles we invite people to step up into. One of you, whoever the person here is, that when you go out for lunch or dinner to a restaurant, you're the person that sorts out the bill. You might be the person that helps deal with the tips and the cash. So we do need that. That's also a thankless task to be done on the mountain. And of course, you can invite people to join you on the mountain. It's great to do with friends, family, your partner, a child, a parent. Really great to do. And then we got to get training and eat well. Now, I just want to check, Hina, off the special that we have today, we were offering the first 10 a further £150 off. And out of the first 10, some of you here have already signed up and taken it on. And I believe there are 8 who have already signed up. There are 2 packs remaining at 3,400. So if you want to take those 2 packs, basically sign up today, right? So 3,400 for the last 2 packs that are remaining. Thereafter, if you're paying in one installment, it's 3,550. Like I say, we didn't revise the prices for 2026, but we have had an increase in prices from our suppliers. So we've, for now, kept it this way. Depending on the numbers and the uptake, we might revise the overall price or the offer price, you know, as the year progresses or beginning of 2026. So I'm going to pause there. Are there any questions so far around the sign up or anything about the mountain? Any questions about anything connected to the mountain, your preparation, your readiness, any concerns that you have? Neil?
Yeah, Ron, thanks for that. Yeah, all very useful. And good to know in terms of well, there's a couple of things in terms of preparation, right? So as you know, it's day 90 of my challenge today. Actually, that's what I was doing earlier with the photo shoot, hence being off video initially. But is it too early to start preparing? I'm sure it never is, but then how do you maintain that sort of from this state that we're in? And I get it. 90 days was the 90-day challenge was only the first 90 days for me. Of course, the journey continues.
Yeah.
And of course, as you know, I'm doing some of the other programs going forward as well. But when is sort of the right time, and when does it actually sort of when do I need to pick up momentum?
Yeah.
And when is it too late to start as well?
Sure. So it's I wouldn't say there is no such thing really as too early, but there would be a thing as too early to go intense, right? So it's if the big hurdle ahead of you between now and next July is only Kilimanjaro, part of preparing for Kilimanjaro sometimes is other mountains, right? So we've had in the past people that were joining Kilimanjaro, joined us about 4 months earlier or 3 months earlier to come to Morocco, where we did Mount Toubkal. Now, just preparing for Mount Toubkal itself, was good. It's not a must, you don't need it, but the UK hikes that are happening, what I would say is try and get one or two in this year. What you do want to buy in terms of preparation is definitely your hiking boots. There's a full gear list we provide you. In that gear list, your hiking boots need to be one size bigger than your normal foot size because you'll be wearing two socks and your feet get slightly inflamed up the mountain. So that's the first thing to buy. Then, in addition to a lot of extra prep or getting fitter, right now there's not so much intensity you'll do, but the last thing you want to do is to regress. So you've finished a 90-day program, you've gotten to a certain level of fitness, you've lost some weight. So you definitely want to continue if you're not yet at peak body composition. You want to continue your health journey to maintain or get to optimal. I would also say that you could, when we do the 10,000 steps, we recommend in preparation for Kilimanjaro daily, as just part of your daily walking, aim for a 5 kilometer walk a day. Once a month, aim for a 10-kilometer walk or hike, and that could even be on flat land. Now, next year, July is when we're going, which is the 7th month. Starting January, that's where we really want to see the detail in our hiking logs. So for every month, we want to see a 10-kilometer hike. In the last 3 months, we would love to see a 15-kilometer hike at least 3 months before. The last 2 months, if you could do at least 2 20-kilometer hikes, that would be good. Now, training for a mountain is not like a marathon where you slowly build up. But training for a mountain, you could go and do your 20-kilometer hike today or this Christmas, right? But it will be digested in your mind what that felt like. After you do your first hike, whenever somebody feels battered by it, if you're not into hiking already, we recommend you go, make sure within 3 weeks or 4 weeks, go for another hike. So you realize how much your body has adapted and grown from whatever might have been a hard experience. I also recommend in the UK, after October, when it gets dark and cold and wet, that's the best time to train for the worst weather on Kilimanjaro, right? So we're hoping for not having that weather on the mountain because the time of year we're going for is not as wet at base. But you could expect on the mountain, 4 seasons in a day, literally. So it could be sunny 1 minute and then it could rain. So we need to prepare for, I say that the most adverse training you get, the harsher training that you get, the better you'll be prepared and ready for the mountain.
That sounds good, and I know there are a few tracks. I mean, some friends with Jen, like I mentioned, Janisha, and that's what I was thinking about me this morning, was that this whole walking hiking thing has never really been my thing, right? And I don't know whether it's a thing on my list to do, but very similar to her. Of course, we're celebrating her big 50 on the mountain. That was quite nice. I'm at a similar stage. I'm going to be 50 year after next, but I also my son is keen to come on board as well, but he's got a bit of a clash next year for the school trip to Japan. So, and I want to go that side of the world as well on the back of that. So there's a bit of clash for me on my side. But I mean, even if I did lock this in, for example, would I be able to roll it over the following year? I mean, there's a chance I might go twice. I don't know. My son would then sort of want to do it the year after.
If you let us know in advance, us know in advance as to why you might need to roll it over, then we can let you know. Like, hey, okay, we'll make exception to do that. The only thing I would just say is that if the base price or the offer price that you sign up at, if the following year that changes, you'll have to pay the differential.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so that would be there. But I would more recommend, like, of course, like if you take up an offer, then that means less offers for others out there. We won't offer more to others. But it will be great to really get those dates certain. Of course, things may change and you can still let us know, look, we still need to roll over. That'll be fine. Hina Shah Perth, I saw you had your hand raised, but I also just wanted to I know Hina Shah, London, put some intro in the chat, but Hina's also the co-lead here on Kili. Hina, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself and anything you want to say about Kili or 2026?
I'll be really, really brief. So I'm Hina Shah. I'm one of the Kilimanjaro co-leads. In fact, I'm the main co-lead at the moment. But I help Ronnie assist with all Kilimanjaro, whether it's your registration, anything like that, answering your queries, what you want to buy, etc. A little bit background of me, I did Kilimanjaro in 2020 with Ronnie, and this was straight after lockdown. But before that, I'm born and bred in Kenya, Nairobi, and I came to this UK. I live in UK, and when I was in Nairobi, at the back of my garden, I could always see Kilimanjaro, and it's always been my dream to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I lost my mum literally about 10 years ago, and my mum was one of the first victims in 1947 to get polio. So one leg was shorter than the other one, so she had difficulty walking. I was her main carer, and when I lost her, I was just like, what do I do now? And I had the same thing, literally within 3 months. I had a bucket handle tear, and I was walking exactly like her. I got operated, and then I put on a lot of weight. I went, the first year I got depressed. I was really depressed because I could see my sister moving on, my brother moving on, and life carried on basically. And I was just like, okay, what do I want to do? I went climbing I went to Peru. I climbed Machu Picchu. I climbed Rainbow Mountain. And when I got back, Rainbow Mountain really pushed me. I was sick, literally both sides at the same time. It was really bad. And I was always behind the group, 30 minutes away every time. And I was just like, I need to do something about myself. So when I came down, in 2018, I joined a coach and I lost weight. I lost 20 kilos. And at that time, he told me in 2019, October, what is one thing that you've always wanted to do? And I said, I want to climb Kilimanjaro. That's my vision, always has been climb Kilimanjaro. Let's get you there. And you can start looking up on internet, where can you find it? And you know what? Literally the next day, I saw a post on recommendation, Ronnie with FITBANKER and a 9-year-old girl climbing Kilimanjaro. I was like, if a 9-year-old girl can do it, why can't I? I mean, how hard can it be, right? Anyway, I then signed up in October. I went and met Ronnie in person in Camden. They had a workshop for Kilimanjaro. I met the team then, and they all climbed Kilimanjaro, and they're like, you have to do this. Literally, I was like, okay, let's do this. I bought my flights January 2020, and in March 2020, everybody knows what happened in March 2020. Lockdown, COVID came. Boom, all my flights got changed, everything. I was like, oh my God, I've just paid so much money. What's going to happen now? But obviously, Ronnie assured me it's going to go ahead no matter what. The first lockdown got lifted in July 2020. And as a team, August, we were the only people on the mountain, team of 6, with a team of 50 support team, went and summited that mountain. And honestly, I cried as well on the mountain. Ronnie is there. He's videoing me. I cried. It's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. It's a walk up the mountain. But it's one of these beautiful things that you will ever do in your life, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. The Hina that went up, guess what? She never came back down. Obviously, I didn't die. I'm here. I'm right in front of you. I didn't die. A new Hina was born, and a more sassy, a more confident. I fell in love with mountains. Ronnie sometimes call me an orophile. It is a mountain lover, to be honest. And I've summited so many mountains. I've taken a team for FITBANKER in 2023. We led a team, Ronnie and I, 42 people. Last year, Ronnie and I also led a team in Mount Tukala, introduced Mount Tukala, and let's take the teams up. And literally, it's the best thing I've done. I've climbed Mount Kenya, I've done Everest Base, I've done Mount Meru, I've done Mount Kinabalu. I'm doing Mount Fuji, hopefully in a couple of months. But I'm literally building my mountain portfolio. When I'm saying, Neil, I heard you saying, how much do I need to put? I'm not very much a hiker either. But you know what? Get in touch with nature. Nature, something will shift. And you were like, oh, why didn't I do this before? Ramya is my neighbor, and I absolutely love her to bits completely. She's one of the persons that I saw a transformation. When I saw her in June, or was it May, we did Seven Sisters. I was just like, I haven't done enough training. I came on that training, and I was she didn't know this, but I was watching her. She was perfect. And you know, a week before she had toothache and everything, but you know what? Put it all aside, go and do it. And the things will still be here. Whatever's your family or whatever you want to do, it'll still be here. You make your 2026 count. Life will keep going. Don't be that fly on the wall, on the window. Go out and experience, because there's so much more than just doing your normal thing. Be that person that people were like, oh my God, I want to do that. Anyway, my intro, I can keep talking. Ronnie hardly gives me the mic, so he's given me the mic, so I'm going to keep my mouth quiet. But please do sign up Kilimanjaro, because it's something so beautiful. Anyway,
Awesome.
sorry.
Awesome, Mina. No, thanks for that. Thanks for sharing that. I mean, your story is powerful, and yeah, I guess you've all got to see her journey and where she started from. She had every reason to have limiting belief around not being a hiker or into mountains or whatever, and yeah, like you've heard, for Hina, it's definitely true. Once you pop, you don't stop. So you know, would love to. Yeah. Any other questions? Any other shares?
Ronnie,
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you again what the dates were.
8 to 18th July, 8 to 18th July 2026.
And Hina, any chance you could email me that link?
Yeah,
I'll just put in my email address.
put in the chat, and I'll definitely send it to you.
Thank you.
Can I ask one more?
Yeah, please do.
Just about the fundraising side. That's not for sort of funding anything, right? It's purely for the charities that we're going to
Correct.
support. Yeah.
Correct. So what you pay for the ticket is to FITBANKER for the experience. Then separately, we have an independent page where we fundraise. And over the years now, I think we've raised close to maybe £60,000, £70,000, almost $100,000, which has been awesome that we've been able to raise that over these years. So really grateful for that. Those go directly to the charity. Of course, we've worked with two different ones. The same charity right now, because Lions take up different projects. That Lions group primarily support the deaf center, but there is a pediatric cancer department in one of the hospitals that has approached them for support. So they're asking whether they can apply some of our funds there. So part of our funds may go towards that as well. And one of the reasons we do that and we choose that particular charity and cause on the ground is I just believe in giving where we get from. So we're going to get a lot of lifetime memories from this place. And you can ask anyone that came this year, like it's a very moving experience to go there, visit this place. It really, really pumps people up with a lot of gratitude 2 days before we go going up the mountain. And for some people, it's very emotional. There's a lot of love, a lot of tears, but you just see unconditional love from the kids at the deaf center. So we had, all our team, like the kids were climbing on them, hugging them, so it was a lovely experience for them. And it was their holiday, but about 30 kids came in just because they heard we were coming. So the parents and the kids came in for the day just to meet us and allow us to see their classrooms and all that stuff.
And do you mind just going back to the slide? Because the previous one where you had the list of what's included. Okay.
So what list? This list?
Yeah, the list of what's included.
Yeah, can you see
That
it?
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Neil is
Yeah,
also on the
that's
link.
And yeah, thanks for sharing. Oh,
It's on
fine.
the link.
No, thanks for sharing. I'm on entry as well. From
Do you have your passport? Neil, do you have your Kenyan passport?
oh, sorry. No, I actually was never Kenyan.
Okay.
I was at DOC, but
Okay.
yeah. But no, I actually I sometimes wish I did, because every time just so I'm from Nakuru, and similarly, my view was always of Lake Nakuru the kitchen at home. And my dad's surgery was just outside the gates, and we'd always get sort of favorable rates. But nowadays, I know everything's gone up, and for us sort of foreigners now, it's not cheap, of course. But no, I don't have any means of
Okay, cool.
of
And
negotiating.
Hina Perth, you don't have a East African passport, do you?
I've tried so hard to renew my expired one, but I do have an ID card if that helps. But not a Kenyan passport as yet. But I am going to Kenya in December, so hopefully I'll
if
sort it out then.
you can renew it, then we bet you'll get a favorable rate. So we're basically going to save about $500 if you can get in on your Kenyan passport. So it'll be 2,900, you know?
2950.
2,950. So off the 3,550, it's 600 off. But obviously, if you sign up at 3,400, it'll be 450 off. If you can get to that passport. And for the benefit of everybody else, I also feel the pinch as a non-East African, because we have higher gate entry fees and a whole bunch of other costs. But for East Africans, we can get a slightly favorable rate. And so that's why we can reduce the package offer for East African citizens. I just want to say, yeah, Hina Perth, it's worth renewing your passport if you can. Hina London did that to make me jealous, and she's yeah, she was able to get her old expired ID renewed a couple of years ago, and since then she's benefited from a lot of better rates.
I'll get that sorted out. It's never meant so much until now.
Now you have a reason to get it for sure.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. If there's no further questions, guys, like I say, those of you that want to take up the offer at 3,400, you can. Hina, you've sent the details on the interest chat of how to pay, or
It's on the thing here right now for some, and I'm emailing Hina and Rax the same link.
okay, on this link here, just put it on the interest group to say everybody that joined. I just want to share this link also. We've live streamed this recording, so this recording will
Ronnie,
also
before
be
you go,
shared with others. Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
before we go, can I just have a quick question?
Sure.
So you know the finer details like the visas, the insurance for climbing Mount Kili. When will you give us all that information, or is that something we just need to research into?
No, you can just ask on the WhatsApp group, or once you're there, we sort of answer those. But the answer is, yeah, it just depends, because it's not one answer for everyone. So it depends where you're coming from. But as a British, you need a visa, and the visa is you can get it for $50 from the UK. You can book it in advance. You get it online. Or you can get it on arrival. So it's also $50 on arrival. The main difference is you're saving queuing up on the day if there's a long queue. So it's better to get it from London.
Okay. And the insurance is just a matter of speaking to.
Yeah, and you will also get a link to a document which has all the details like the gear list and other stuff. And on there, there will also be a tab around insurance. So there are two types of insurance needed. One is travel insurance, which means flights cancelled, flights delayed, bags lost. That's what you need travel insurance for. The second type of insurance you need is health insurance or medical insurance, which is if something happens to you and you need to go to hospital there, then obviously you can claim that expense. The way to really work on the ground is you'll pay for, if there's some emergency, you'll have to pay for that. And then you will be able to claim from your insurance company, so long your insurance, again, in the links that we share, it will specify that you need to get insurance that covers up to 6,000 meters. And in case your insurance provider says Kilimanjaro is considered extreme adventure, it's not extreme. Skiing is considered extreme, but Kilimanjaro is not, because it's a walking hike, and it's also what's called a touristic guide, meaning it's on a mapped out route and you're led by a guide, so you're not doing a solo expedition adventure. and it's not got technical climbing. So most insurance companies know that Kilimanjaro is covered as a non-extreme sport. But if you're unclear, try the links that we give you. They regularly cover Kilimanjaro and so on.
Okay, lovely.
Cool. Hina, London, is there something you wanted to say?
Find it really well when you call me Hina London.
Well,
Okay,
if both of you are there in 2026, then those are going to be the titles. Hina Perth, Hina London.
that's fine. Sergio, in your Kilimanjaro 2026 group, in the description, there are two links. There's a gear list link and an info link. In the information, just what everybody's just said, that's where the spreadsheet is. And look at every tab. Each tab has got all the information that you need, whether it's a schedule, whether it's a visa, whether it's insurance, etc. I will keep updating it as we go along. But with visas, we will ask you on one of the webinars. I will also prompt you guys to start getting visas from like 3-4 months in advance. Don't leave it too late. And the insurance, there's a tab there of which insurance companies you can go with. My bank actually provides it, so to also check with your bank as well. But just make sure it covers 5895. That's all.
Thanks, Hina.
Awesome. All right, guys, if there's no further questions, we are going to wrap up. As shared earlier, there's a risk to something like this. There's a risk, no guarantee on summiting. There's risk of illness, there's risk of weather, there's sometimes even risk of summit being called out. We do provide a film crew for this, but I believe as well, the most dangerous risk is the risk of spending your life not doing what you want on the bet you can buy yourself the freedom to do it later. Beautiful quote by Randy Commissar, and I've shared with you guys some of my besties I've lost who keep saying next year. So would love for you guys to take it on. You can trust the process, you can trust us. We've done this now a number of times, I'm very confident in what we do, and we try our best to bring the best levels of safety, hygiene, as well as when it comes to the food, as well as the equipment that we use. That's all very important, and the locations that we stay at base. But it truly is one life transforming experience. So would love to do something like this with you guys, and I look forward to, well, firstly meeting you at base or maybe on a practice hike, and then eventually take a nice selfie at summit. Cool. On that note, it's a wrap. This link will be available if you want to share this with anyone else that you'd like to share it with. The link's been, recorded and will be made publicly available. So feel free to share with anybody else that you think would love to come to Kilimanjaro as well.
I'm just going to say good news. Thank you, Hina Sharpat. Thank you so much. You're signing up. She's just messaged me, so I'm really excited. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome, guys. Okie dokes. And bye for now. And if anybody else has any other questions around the sign-up process, you can connect with Hina. Her number's put in the chat, or you all should have my number if you're on the interest group. I just sent a message there now. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Bye for now.
Thanks, Ronnie.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.